I was a very late bloomer growing up. I still am. And they say that being a late bloomer isn't all that bad. I mean, most of the stuff that other people will learn most likely later in life, you have already learned. My intelligence was more of street smarts rather than book smart. And it's only because, oh my God, I wasn't illiterate for a good amount of time. Didn't know how to tie my shoes until second grade. Like, I didn't get a jump on it until I was in second grade. I didn't know the whole multiplication tables until I was in fifth grade. And the reason for that, because I was using a method that was giving me the right answers. It was just the teachers didn't seem to like that method. And the traditional method they wanted me to use, I couldn't get it. So I didn't get a grasp with that method to solve those multiplication problems with those multiplication tables until fifth grade. Now with reading, I did not get a jump on that. I didn't have the words clicking until third grade. When third grade happened, everything was coming in naturally. From the sound of the letters in that word, from the sound of the word itself, from the sounds the words in the sentence were making, from what each and every word was, from the meaning behind every word, to what the sentence was even asking for. I did not get all that coming out naturally out of me until third grade. When I was in third grade, I was not illiterate anymore. Yes, my reading level was slightly lower than the other kids, but eventually I was going up. I was climbing left and right, and because of that, look, and now I'm reading all kinds of books left and right, But yeah, look, it was crazy. But although I had finally, and I was happy, I was proud of myself. I was like, now I can read like the other kids. Now I can read. Now I did it. I made it. It seemed like this one teacher, although she didn't have a problem with me reading, it just seemed she had a problem in general. Not with me, but like in general. She was an elementary school teacher, and I had her for her third and fourth grade. And she was like, she wasn't my main teacher, the third and fourth grade. She was those teachers like although you had your main core teacher, you had another teacher, almost like high school, but like these teachers will work together. Hey, you do science and this and that. I'll do literature and history and this and that. Something like that. And we were doing science in her class. And this one particular day, I don't know what her problem was. I mean, it just didn't seem like she liked teaching little kids. But then again, when you take a job as an elementary school teacher, you're going to be teaching kids. It's a no-brainer. From K through 5, depending on the school, you're going to be teaching elementary school kids. If that was not your preference, then you should have gone with middle school or high school. But you took the job anyways. But yeah, it just seems she was always so angry and intimidating, and it was just like everything bugged her. This day in particular, she would teach science. And of course, kids are kids. They're going to yell and scream. They're going to be obnoxious. They're going to be talking loud amongst themselves with the other kids. That's normal. Me, I wasn't really talking to the other kids because, well, I didn't really have any friends. I mean, practically everyone just didn't like me. What can you do? But as I said before, I caught a jump on reading. And the teacher was writing something on the board. So basically, I even remember it was like page 59, chapter 8, moon phases, something like that. Because I remember we were learning about the moon. And when you say you can't hear yourself think, or you can't hear yourself sing or read. That was me. So I didn't do this to be obnoxious. It was just I was reading out loud. I guess I was reading a little too loud, but I didn't know. I mean, I was practically doing the same thing as all the other kids in the same tone. So it was I was like page 59, chapter 8, and I was proud of myself for reading it. So I'm like, okay, we have to. So as I'm reading this, I'm like, in my head, okay, we have to go to page 59 or 58 because we're going to go on chapter 8, things like that. So as I'm reading this, she then stops. So I'm like, she then like turns to me and gives me this death glare, which no one is supposed to give me a death glare than my mother. And I've had a few, and I just feel like that was a bit inappropriate for her to do. But obviously she's giving me this death glare. She's like pissed off and stuff, and then turns to me and says, in like a pissed off, he's like, put a buckle on it. And then goes back, and I'm like, I smiled at her because, like, when you're nervous, like, that was it. Because I didn't know what I was reading. I didn't cuss her out. I wasn't obnoxious. Sorry if it seemed like I was obnoxious, but I wasn't. But then again, of all the responses she could have done, she could have said, all right, read to yourself, or knock it off, or interact. Like, okay, what's the page? What's the page? I was like, oh, this and this. And she goes, all right, turn to this. Or, hey, class, now, I need you guys to settle down now. I want you to read this. What does it say? Okay, you know what it says? Then I want you to turn. Simple as that. I mean, anything a lot more professional and appropriate than that. I mean, I was like, what, 7, 8 maybe? I mean, come on. Like, I don't know. And then when she wasn't at school, she was a total different person. So I don't know okay, it's a stressful job. Yeah, you're like dealing with kids all hours every day until the weekend, but you chose to take that job, So I don't know if it was just, okay, I'm now a person, or it's just like, oh, you're wearing many different masks. Okay, that's fine. We all do. However, what mask are you going to wear the most so that no one can call you a fake or a hypocrite? I don't know. I feel like she was a fake and a hypocrite. Then again, I could be wrong because I was so young. But that moment sticks out to me like a sore thumb. Like, so sorry, wasn't trying to be obnoxious, wasn't trying to be disruptive or anything. I was reading off the board, so I could hear myself and understand what was going on. That's what you do, read out loud. But yeah, what can you do? I'm here now and I know how to read.